There's a constant cycle of crisis and victory that teams, people, and organizations go through. And as a manager in a real agility environment, this can be a very big challenge for you. Again, managers typically are responsible for the smooth functioning of their organization. This smooth functioning, almost by definition, means avoiding crisis. Now, the problem here is that inevitably crisis comes up anyway. It can be changed from many different quarters. It could be a change in the requirements of what you're doing. It could be a change in technology that's somehow disruptive. It could be a change in your schedule or your time available. It could be any number of changes, and they'll usually be uncontrollable changes. Stuff that you as a manager have no ability to actually influence other than to somehow manage the change. Now, managing change then is usually built up into lots and lots of different things related to bureaucracy, processes, approvals, checkpoints, checklists, documentation. All of this needs to be dramatically reduced in a real agility environment because it's mostly wasteful overhead. So what you need to do instead is you need to take this change and figure out how you're going to handle change in a way that's positive. So for example, how do you inform other stakeholders of change? For example, your team. Do you go to your team and say, hey everyone, just heard about this, it's got to do it now, crack the whip, we have to work overtime and get it done. That's not really appropriate in a real agility environment, whereas it might be quite normal in your traditional environment. In other words, what you're doing there is you're pushing crisis onto your team instead of handling it yourself. In a real agility environment, you might also have to inform stakeholders. Someone on our team has just gotten ill. It's going to affect the schedule. That's going to be a hard conversation. And depending on your stakeholders, they might be like, no, that's unacceptable. You still have to do it no matter what. Figure out a way. Be creative. This is an opportunity. These kinds of discussions, well, they have some truth to them, nevertheless need to be handled in a completely different way. We have to go from coping with crisis to thriving in crisis. And one of the best ways to think about this is that all of this crisis is an opportunity for learning. In a real agility environment, we focus on continuous improvement. And as a real agility manager, you create an environment where every crisis is presented as an opportunity for learning. Learning new skills, learning new techniques, and sometimes learning new procedures and policies. But we try and avoid that. We focus on individuals and their interactions rather than on the processes and tools. This learning helps you then understand that every crisis can lead to victory. That victory is when you learn something. Contact us at Berteig. We transform people, process, and culture through the power of real agility.